The case out of New Jersey for Christopher Gregor has started. If you haven't heard, this is a case that's being called the Treadmill abuse murder. In this video, we will cover the opening statement by the Oceanside prosecutor, Jamie Schron, and the defense attorney, Mario Gallucci. If you haven't heard about this case is being called the Treadmill abuse murder. The case is out of New Jersey, and a short summary of the case is father, Christopher, had legal custody of a 6-year-old boy, Corey. And on the date of question, Corey was with his mother. This is little Corey, what appears to be a 6-year-old healthy boy. This video is brought to you by Court TV. They're the only media source that was allowed to record the trial.
Guys, this is my mommy and your
Mother Brianne did not have legal custody of Corey because it appears that she was a drug addict, very likely methamphetamine. It appears that Christopher had let Brianne take Corey to a party or some kind of family event on a date that she normally did not have him. And so on this particular date, she was running late. And the story that Brianne gives is that she notices bruising. Since she's concerned for her child's safety, she takes him to the doctor, tries to get an emergency order from the court, trying to get custody back of her child. Unfortunately, on that same day, she returns the child home, March 20th of 2021. She returns Corey home, and by this time, Christopher is upset. He's at the gym in his apartment complex, and that's exactly where she drops him. And so this is where that treadmill video comes into play. So the treadmill video will be shown by prosecutors. Basically, what you will see is Corey falling multiple times off the treadmill and Christopher putting him back on the treadmill multiple times. So it is graphic footage, but that is the abuse that they are continuing to show. Little Corey, at 6 years old, does pass away at the hospital. Hello, my name is Deborah Lelli, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on all upcoming videos. Let's get started. Opening statements began on April 30th. And let me show you some of the states opening.
Corey Travis Michello. He liked the solar system. He liked to play outside. His mom describes him as silly and happy. Corey was 6 on April 2nd, 2021, when his father murdered him. His father is this defendant, Christopher Gregor. This case is about Corey and how Corey became the ultimate victim of this defendant's punishment and abuse. During the course of the trial, you're going to hear from a number of witnesses and see a lot of evidence. You'll learn that on May 1st of 2014, Corey was born to Brianna Michello when she was just 17 years old. This defendant didn't come into Corey's life, and neither did the Gregors, until Corey was 4 or 5.
And I want to pause it just there, just to kind of give a little explanation, because what the prosecutor is trying to do here, obviously, is paint the picture that's the bad father. When it's the defense attorney's turn, he's going to try and explain why Christopher came into Corey's life at the age of 4 or 5.
On March 20th of 2021, Corey's mom picked him up for a visit. They went to Pennsylvania and they saw their family. They were supposed to be back at about 3 or 4 o'clock. They were in Pennsylvania, there was traffic, and they were running late. Corey's mom told the defendant that. But Brianna's lateness, you'll hear, was pissing him off. He told Brianna to drop Corey off at the apartment complex's gym and meet him there. So she did. Corey and the defendant went into the gym, and you'll see what happened next. Because that gym had a surveillance system, and you will see what this defendant did to his son inside that gym. Corey's mom was also concerned. She had seen bruises as well. She was so concerned that she filed an emergent application with the court to get custody. On April 1st of 2021, Corey's mom picked him up for her only visitation she had had that week, or during the week, which was 3 hours, and she brought him to a pediatrician. Corey spoke to the pediatrician. The pediatrician saw Corey's bruises. She too was concerned. So she sent Corey and his mom to a local hospital nearby. Ultimately, Corey was seen at Jersey Shore University Medical Center. And while at Jersey Shore, doctors looked at Corey's body. They checked his lungs. They checked his bones. They checked his labs. And shortly after 1 o'clock in the morning or around there, Corey was discharged. He was medically cleared for release because there was nothing wrong with Corey's lungs. There was nothing wrong with Corey's bones, and his labs were normal. Corey was fine except for his bruises. Now, Corey's mom tried to bring Corey back to the defendant. Her visitation was over. And while they were at the doctor earlier, she learned that her application for custody had been denied in that regard, but that a child abuse examination had been ordered within 7 days by a specialist. And so, in trying to keep with the visitation schedule, she contacted the defendant and tried to bring Corey back, but he didn't answer. And so, since it's after 1 o'clock in the morning, Corey's mom and Corey go back to her house in Englishtown. And the two of them get home, everyone's asleep, they go in the basement, and they go to bed. That's where her room is. Corey wakes up in the morning, he has his breakfast, his mom dresses him in clean clothes, and he's with his mom the whole time. And she drives him back to the defendant's apartment in Barnegat. Corey and his mom sat in the car in the parking lot, and they said goodbye for what would be the very last time. Corey was walking. Corey was talking. Corey was fine, except for his bruises. By 9:03 a.m., Corey was back inside the defendant's apartment. And you'll hear that the defendant wasn't happy. But he told people, Corey's okay, Corey's all right. Except by 3:48 p.m., this defendant carried Corey's nearly limp body into Southern Ocean Medical Center. He reported that Corey was sleepy and had thrown up. Corey was admitted quickly. He was brought to room 6 in the emergency department. Corey coded. He was intubated. He coded again. He lost his pulse. And by 5:03 p.m., Corey was pronounced dead. This defendant, shortly after, walked out of the hospital, got into his car, and he left. Left the hospital, and he left Corey.
All right, and I'm going to stop it there. The full video, if you do want to watch the full opening statement, again, is on Court TV, as they did stream the opening statements, so you are able to watch it. I do want to show you a little bit of the defense attorney's opening statement. The defense attorney's opening statement is a lot longer, so I am going to skip around a bit, but I do want to point out some of the key points in the defense attorney's opening statement. Here's Mario Gallucci as he provides his opening statement. Mario Gallucci does a very good job, in my opinion, with his opening statement. Let's have a watch.
In August of 2017, Christopher Gregor was studying for his master's degree at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland. And he was also employed by Urban Teachers, which was a company that employed people to teach in urban areas. When he found out he was being sued for child support for a child he had never met, nor did he know he fathered.
And here, just as he opens, he goes in and answers the prosecution's allegation about him not being involved in the child's life. And the reason why he wasn't involved in the child's life was because he did not know he was the father until he was sued for child support. We're going to skip around in the defense's opening, but again, you can watch the full videos and I'll post a link if you do want to watch that in the comments below.
Experts, you're going to get testimony from Dr. Larkin, who, by the way, Dr. Larkin has no skin in the game. This is a doctor that comes to the hospital. He's from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner here in Ocean County. He has no idea what the relationship is between Christopher and Brianna and Christopher and Rebecca. He's got no clue. He just evaluates the child by science and medicine. Dr. Larkin found that Corey's blood results from Southern Ocean showed incredibly high white blood count, high glucose, and high lactic acid, and said that's all indicative of sepsis caused by an infection. The same sepsis that Jersey Shore Medical Center told Brianna Micholo, do not take this child from the hospital. He possibly has sepsis. We need to evaluate him. Chief Medical Examiner here in Ocean County, his evaluation, you're going to hear evidence, sepsis, infection, not murder. A CAT scan ordered after Corey's death by Dr. Larkin, evidence will show, showed the possibility of pneumonia. Pneumonia is an infection, and an infection causes sepsis. So the Ocean County Medical Examiner, the first person to evaluate Corey, which, by the way, is 12 days after the treadmill. 12 days. You're going to hear testimony that when he gets to Southern Ocean Medical Center, there's no report of any additional bruising since March 20th. You're going to see there's no signs of, I believe Ms. Schron said, a hit with a baseball bat, stepped on, I don't know what she said, whatever she said.
So here, the defense obviously is already building his theory on a possible reason on how little Corey could have died. I want to show you just a few more parts in his opening because generally during opening statements, it's not common for objections, but there is an objection from the state in Gallucci's opening statement. So let me just get to that part.
Of him in a prison outfit behind bars, wishing him death.
So here he's talking about a Facebook group that had been opened by Brianna, and in a couple of seconds he will go in a little further, and this is where the objection will be raised.
They formed a chat group on Facebook dedicated to Corey, but evidence is going to show it really wasn't dedicated to Corey. It was dedicated into harassing the Gregor family. So much so, you're going to hear testimony that both Brianna and Rebecca were arrested in Monroe, New Jersey, and pled guilty for harassing Dave and Carolyn Gregor by protesting in front of their house, putting up posters on telephone.
Judge. Yes, please, thank you.
So there's the objection, and the judge will go in and explain it. I'm not going to play the whole explanation, but basically that's because he is bringing up criminal history on the witness, and he'll later obviously go into her credibility when Brianna does testify, and at that point the objection can be raised again. The judge just basically provides instructions to the jury, again letting them know that what the attorneys say is not evidence, and that at a later time, if she's questioned and he allows that information to come in, at that point, if the state raises the objection, he would address it at that point. But I thought it was very interesting because generally information like this gets talked about beforehand, whether it's coming in or not, because it could be prejudicial. One last thing that I did want to point out is one of the experts that the defense is planning on calling. As you know, there's going to be a lot of talk about the cause of death. And so the defense attorney is going to call Dr. Michael Baden.
From our expert, Dr. Michael Baden, is here in New York, and they both completely disagree on the result of Corey's death.
And if you're not familiar with Dr. Michael Baden, Dr. Michael Baden testified in the O.J. Simpson trial as well as the George Floyd trial. So that's opening statements for you. So stay with us as we cover this trial. I will be bringing you updates as the case progresses. If you have any questions or comments, don't forget to leave them in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time.